NASCAR Cup Series race has officially concluded from Mexico City, and Shane Van Gisbergen puts on a dominant clinic at the end and wins a historic race in Mexico City. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. I just got done watching the 2025 Viva Mexico 250 from the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez track in Mexico City. We have quite a bit to talk about from this race. Let's go and talk about it. Let's just jump straight in and talk about the guy who actually won the race today, and that is Shane Van Gisbergen. Shane Van Gisbergen is able to pick up his first win of 2025 and his second career NASCAR Cup Series win. Going into this weekend, I think many of us expected that Shane Van Gisbergen was going to be the car to beat. He had the fastest car on Friday, especially during the practice sessions, and we knew that 88 car was really, really good in the braking zones. On the long straightaways, it seemed like the rest of the field was a little bit quicker than him at times, but on the braking areas and the turns especially, that's where Shane Van Gisbergen really, really showed out. He won the pole yesterday, and we knew going into this race he was going to be a factor, but going into the race also, Shane Van Gisbergen told a lot of people that he was starting to feel under the weather, and he was not feeling very good in this race. So he was basically driving sick. And today, he put together an unbelievable and dominant performance. Now, early in this race, there was a two-head horse up front. Now, actually, early in the race, there was a caution came out like lap 1 or lap 2, and SVG had the race lead. And they came down pit road because there was rain on the racetrack. Roshenstein actually got ahead of Shane Van Gisbergen, and Shane Van Gisbergen was not as strong on the restarts in this race. But I will say I noticed that SVG, as the race progressed and went on, that car definitely showed a lot of improvement on the restarts in particular. And for Shane, the car just got better as the day progressed and went on. But there was one guy majority of this race that was in contention with him, and that, of course, is Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs, we know, is a really good road course racer. He had the experience from the NASCAR Xfinity Series race yesterday, had a really great chance and a strong opportunity to get that win yesterday, but Ty Gibbs was there all day long. And I think at times Ty Gibbs was actually a little bit quicker than Shane Van Gisbergen. But the moment everything changed, Shane Van Gisbergen would actually decide to stay out at the end of stage number 2. I thought him staying out at the end of stage number 2 was really going to cost him, but they thought that rain was going to be coming, and they decided to go ahead and stay out. Now, the rain, inevitably, the big rainstorms would never show up. There'd be some sprinkles and all that, but rain would never show up. But something would happen to Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs, who was really good, he unfortunately caught a really bad break with around 35 laps to go. Ty Gibbs would unfortunately have a caution come out due to Carson nose bar spinning out and not getting the car refired. Because of that, for Ty, he would be restarting around 11th or 12th position while Shane Van Gisbergen would have the race lead. Now, early in the final run, we would see a good battle between Alex Bowman, Christopher Bell, and Shane Van Gisbergen early. And early in the run, Alex Bowman and Christopher Bell were able to keep up with Shane Van Gisbergen. But as the run progressed and went on, and as the tires got older, that 88 car started just dominating. He started pulling out by nearly a second every single lap. He gained almost 2 seconds on one lap when Bowman and Bell were battling for second position. They lost a ton of ground and time. And once the car started coming in, that 88 car was absolutely flying in this race. He had the dominant car today, and he won this race by almost 20 seconds. I think he won this race by 16.5 seconds, which is, I believe, maybe the largest margin of victory we have seen in the NASCAR Cup Series this year. So an absolute dominant win for Shane Van Gisbergen, a well-earned and well-deserved victory. He held off a lot of really good cars. He got some good competition in this race, but Ty Gibbs really the only guy most of the day that could really contend with Shane Van Gisbergen, but this is a huge win. And this is a big reason coming into this year why Trackhouse Racing hired them. We all knew going into this year that SVG was not going to be as strong on the ovals, but the type of track that Shane Van Gisbergen was going to be good at was the road courses. And today, he absolutely delivered and put up a dominating clinic. I think he led 61 or 62 of the 100 laps in this race. He probably had his best car he's ever had in a cup race up to this point. He gets a well-earned win, second career win, first time as a full-time driver in the sport. Now he's locking the playoffs, which we can talk about that maybe with the playoff fixture and all that kind of stuff. Not being the biggest fan of that, but for SVG, nonetheless, this is a feel-good story, a feel-good win. Congratulations to Shane Van Gisbergen on picking up his first Cup win of the season. A well-earned and well-deserved victory. Put together a hell of a fantastic, great run. So now we'll go ahead and take a look at the race results and give my score and thoughts on today's race. So Shane Van Gisbergen picks up the win. Christopher Bell finished second. He started back in around 30th in this race, but he charged his way up to the front and gets a strong second place finish. This 20 team has been really gelling very, very well. He put together a great run today, just not enough time, and once the car fell off a little bit, they didn't have the pace and speed, but they played the strategy correctly, and Cristobal gets a runner finish after winning last time we were at COTA. Great run for Bell in second. Chase Elliott finished third. He put on an incredible drive at the end of this race. That 9 car didn't have good speed early, but they made that car a lot better, and I feel like Chase Elliott is starting to get these road courses figured out a lot more, and he's kind of headed back toward that direction where I think he could have a chance and opportunity to get a win on a road course in the future. Solid day for Chase Elliott. Great run for him. He finished third. Alex Bowman finished fourth. He struggled early in this race, but they made that car better, and Bowman progressively moved his way up to the front. Wasn't even sure if he was going to be racing today, considering Anthony Fredo was on standby after that really bad wreck that happened. But Alex Bowman put together a great performance today, a good rebound, a great turnaround for the team. He finishes fourth. Michael McDowell finished fifth. Had really good speed in this race today, just not enough to get up there with Shane and Gisbergen, but he had top 5 speed all day. He was really good in practice, thought he'd be a factor. Put together a great run. He finishes fifth. John Hunter Nemechek finished sixth. A great top 10 run for John Hunter. He legit ran top 10, top 15 in points in this race, and that car progressively got better as the day progressed and went on, so a solid top 10 run for John Hunter. Chase Briscoe finished 7th. A solid good run for Briscoe, considering Chase Briscoe got caught up in a couple incidents in this race, including a big wreck that we'll talk about here in just a second. Great run comeback for Briscoe, get a top 10, thought he'd be a factor for a good run. Does a good job today. He finishes 7th. Cole Custer finishes 8th. Great run for Cole Custer. Cole Custer is a pretty underrated road course racer. A couple years ago, back in 23, he got a couple wins on road courses in Xfinity. So great run for Cole Custer. He finishes 8th. William Byron finished 9th. He was a non-factor early in this race, but they got that car progressively better, and William Byron salvaged a top 10 finish today. So a solid day for Byron. It's going to help him in the point standings as well with Larson's troubles in this race. He finished 9th. Good run for William Byron. And Chris Buescher finishes 10th. Again, just continuously gets top 10s every single time. You can expect every time he comes to a road course that he's likely going to get a top 10. He finished 10th. Great run for Chris Buescher. Ty Gibbs finished 11th. Like I already mentioned, I think Ty Gibbs was one of the few guys who could keep up with Shane Van Gisbergen early, but they played a bad strategy, and he ran out chances and opportunities to go up there and get the victory at the end of the day. But so great run for Ty, just not enough to get the win. Got some stage points though, got some good points in this race, but not enough to get the points that I think he deserved. He finished in 11th. Bubba Wallace finished 12th. He charged up there. He was running down guys in front of him near the end of this race and salvaged the top 15 after a lot of this day being outside the top 20. But they made that car better, and Bubba Wallace continues to get better road courses today. He was the best of the 2011 racing cars for most of the day, so good run for Bubba Wallace. He finishes in 12th. A.J. Allmendinger finished 13th. He started up front. It was actually running pretty good. He got caught up in that early incident with Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, all those guys early in this race. He salvaged and recovered to get himself a top 15 and finish in 13th. But this is a race where he needs to capitalize on if he wants to make the playoffs. Not enough today, though. He finished 13th. Ryan Blaney finished 14th. Ryan Blaney got shoved off the racetrack by Eric Jones, I think, at one point in this race. Does get a top 15. Not enough speed to contend for the win, but a decent top 15 run. And Ryan Preece finished 15th. Ryan Preece is good early in this race, but he got a speeding penalty near the end of the event. They're dropping near the back of the pack in the field. Not his best effort overall. He finished 15th, but he did show some good speed in the pace today. Ross Chastain finished 16th. He had good speed early. Strategy kind of bit him a little bit, and then he lost the handling on that car. That car was going away. They lost the tires. Everything was going wrong with that car at the end and faded back to 16th, but still he had good speed today, but not enough to go get his second win of the year. Eric Jones finished 17th. He showed flashes throughout this race, being inside the top 10, but he lost some of the momentum and speed as the day progressed and went on. He finished 17th. Austin Cindric finished 18th. They were trying to play a contrarian strategy. It really didn't work for them today. Because of that, he finishes 18th. Daniel Suarez finished 19th. I thought he'd be more a factor in the race today, especially after winning the Xfinity Series race yesterday, but just not a good run for Daniel Suarez in general. He had top 10 speed early, but they just never got the handling on the car to be a factor for the win. A little disappointing, all things considered, for him. He finished 19th, where I think he should have capitalized. He didn't capitalize today. This could hurt him in the contract situation going forward. And Tyler Reddick finished 20th. Tyler Reddick was a non-factor today. Like, Tyler Reddick is a really good road course racer. He ran no better than 20th. 20th is about the best we've seen out of that 45. I mean, Bubba Wallace today outran him. Riley Hurst at times outran him today. I was just surprised to see Tyler Reddick show no pace and speed. He was a non-factor all day. Little disappointed to see that car not up front. He finished 20th. Joe Logano finished 21st. Bob Pockrass picked Logano to win, which I didn't understand because Logano has not been that good at road courses, but Logano was up in the top 10 early. And then he got into multiple incidents, spun out, got shoved off the track, just not Logano's best day in general, almost caused a caution late in this event. He finished 21st. Todd Gillen finished 22nd. Ryan Truex finished 23rd. He was a pinball in this race. He spun out multiple times, substituting for Denny Hamlin. But at the end of the day, he does get a top 25 finish. So if there's one thing that he can say about this, he does get a top 25. I know today was not the best run for Ryan Truex, but a solid finish, all things considered, with all the chaos that happened. He finished 23rd. Justin Haley finished 24th. Brad Keselowski finished 25th. Another bad day for Brad at a road course. Josh Berry finished in 26th. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. finished 27th. Austin Dillon finished in 28th. Bradley Herbst, who had a good run going, went a lap down near the end. He finished 29th. Noah Gragson finished in 30th. Cody Ware finished 31st. Catherine Lake finished 32nd. Good to see her get a top 35. Ty Dillon finished 33rd. I think he came down pit road late in the race. He had a fast car in this race, but unfortunately just lost a lot of track position, went a lap down. He finished 33rd. Carson Osbar had multiple incidents and issues throughout the day. He finished 34th. Zane Smith, who got involved in that big wreck, finished 35th. Kyle Larson finished last in 36, but did get the fastest point. Larson was running in the top 10 early, but unfortunately for Kyle Larson, got caught up in that big wreck that happened early in the event, and Kyle Busch finished last. Let's get to that big incident, because this really was the biggest incident of the day. As they were on rain tires early in this race, Kyle Busch hydroplaned going down the front straightaway and collided into a bunch of different cars. Kyle Larson got collected, another kind of not great day for Kyle Larson. AJ Allmendinger got collected, Zane Smith got collected, Chase Briscoe got collected, and I believe another car, Justin Haley, got collected in that wreck as well. Just a mistake from Kyle Busch right there. He felt like he had a good car when it wasn't wet out there, but nonetheless a really bad thing for Kyle Busch to make that mistake. Just a big mistake there. Took out some really good cars, and Larson's chance to go to victory lane was over, but Larson did get the fastest point, so he does get an extra point, all things considered. So now, let's talk about the overall race as a whole and give my score and thoughts on today's race. I honestly thought this race for the early portion was really, really entertaining. You had some fantastic and really good battles. You had a great battle throughout the majority of this event between Ty Gibbs and Shane Van Gisbergen. I think the first two stages were honestly really, really compelling. And then he got to stage 3, and I gotta be honest, when Shane Van Gisbergen got the lead, I was really excited as an SVG fan to watch it, but the end of this race wasn't exciting, at least out front. But I'll give Amazon a lot of credit for this. They didn't focus on Shane Van Gisbergen. They focused on a lot of the really good battles throughout the field in the pack, and they were focusing on that, and that's one thing I think Amazon has done a really good job when it comes to their coverage. So my score of this race, if we were looking at the first half, I'd probably give it about a 9. My score is going to drop to about an 8, though. I'm going to give this race an 8 out of 10. I really did enjoy a lot of this race for the most part. There was a lot of exciting points. The end was a little bit of a slug to get through, but it was still a very fun race, especially as a Shane Van Gisbergen fan, and my score of the race is going to be an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed this, had fun. Some people are going to be asking me, do you want to see Mexico City come back on the schedule? I definitely would love to. They're going to have to, in my opinion, if we're going to go back to Mexico City next year, though, we probably need to have an off week just to make sure everyone can get down there. But I did enjoy this race nonetheless. My score is going to be 8 out of 10. So, that is going to be for the NASCAR Cup Series short review from Mexico City. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Let's get below that, and comment your thoughts below on today's race. Your thoughts on today's race, let me know below. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And congratulate Shane Van Gisbergen on picking up the win. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Tomorrow on the channel, we're going to have NASCAR news. We discussed the news over the course of the last couple days. We'll talk about Daniel White a little bit with some rumors about him maybe involved in the Ram team along with Clayton McFarland. We're going to talk about Daniel Suarez winning the race yesterday and some other stuff like Le Mans and the F1 race a little bit that happened earlier and the IndyCar race coming up very soon. We'll also be doing a silly season update on Tuesday as well. We'll talk about some silly season stuff. We're going to talk about people like Haley Deegan, Shane Van Gisbergen, Cards, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Bubba Wallace, Ross Chastain, Eric Almirola, Sam Mayer, Sheldon Creed, Junior Motorsports, Connor Zillich, Carson Ospar, all the good stuff we'll be talking about on the channel in the coming days and weeks. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.